Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Jaya Jagannath Swami Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Pavan Hari Nama Sankirtan ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuvunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Yati Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Please repeat this verse after me.
White ballad of car is blocking the road. 6605. 6605 white ballad of car. 6605 white color Maruti ballad of car.
Hare Krishna. So you all can kindly repeat this verse, please, from Bhagavad-gita 15.16. Dvavimau purushau loke Sharaschakshara evacha Sharaha sarvani bhutani Kotastokshara uchyate. See, Dvav means two. Imau means in this world there are two living entities. One is called Kshara, another one is called Akshara. Ksharaha sarvani bhutani. In this world, all the jivas are called as Kshara. But Akshara means those who are like aligned with the will of the Lord, and therefore they are considered one in quality with the Lord. Like that. One of you who has the mic with you, you can read it.
Hare Krishna.
Please.
There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible. And in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible.
Yeah. So here Vedanta Sutra says there are two types of living entities, fallible and infallible. Can you please read this? The living entities are eternally. Read this.
Yes, bro. The living entities, from starting Prabhuji?
From here, wherever I highlighted.
Okay. The living entities are eternally separated parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When they are in contact with the material world, they are called Jiva Bhuta. And the Sanskrit words given here, Ksharaha Sarvani Bhutani, mean that they are fallible. Those who are in oneness with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, are called infallible. Oneness does not mean that they have no individuality, but that there is no disunity. They are all agreeable to the purpose of the creation.
So, you all had a very wonderful Ratha Yatra. Last several weeks, Leland Prabhu and team, you have been absorbed in consciousness of how to put up the festival in different colonies. Not a very easy thing. How many totally? 18 or how many? 20. You touched 20. Ratha Yatras. So the news has gone all around India. Many people are appreciating. In one area of Hyderabad, so many Ratha Yatras have happened. So, got many calls. Many calls from many people. What is the secret of so many Ratha Yatras in one place? Who are the fellows who are running it in one area of Hyderabad? So you can expect some teams of devotees to come from different parts of India to see how you coordinate in different gated colonies, gated societies. You have mastered that art now. Began with 1 and 2, and then now it has spread to so many. And Leland Prabhu and his good wife, they're aiming at 108 one day. all over the Hyderabad city. Actually, scaling is possible when your core community members are increasing, plus you have a well laid out plan which can be multiplied. Well thought out plan. Actually, when Prabhupada also started this movement, he started with systems. When if you are a system thinker, then system thinkers always put up things. You have SOP, we say, isn't it? Standard of practice you have, you put it down in writing, and the only main difference between industries and what we do is the love for God. Devotees do it voluntarily, putting their heart. Prabhuji's, Mataji's children, everybody. Mm. Nobody has any other motive other than to please Prabhupada and Guru and Krishna. It's very beautiful effort it is. So now consider this Ratha Yatra now. You will see that if a Ratha Yatra is planned out, uh, then everybody is cooperatively working, it becomes very nice. Some housing colonies you go, you say, we want to do Ratha Yatra. Why you want to do? Huh? People ask, is it not true? And we tell them, we are not doing any wrong thing. We are not drinking and rolling on the road. Huh? Yeah, we are doing such a good thing. Huh? But in America, first time when Rath Yatra has happened, the government was little concerned that they say they are going to get few hundred people. So they sent many policemen to accompany the Rath Yatra to control the mob in case the mob breaks out. But to their great surprise, they saw from the beginning of the Rath Yatra to the end, the whole parade was so calm and peaceful, very nice kirtan and dancing. The police returned back and said, we had no work to do. We also had a very nice Rath Yatra and they gave us prasad, we ate and came back. So later on, police commented, we have never seen such a mass of people so well disciplined. So this was the this was the first Rath Yatra in San Francisco. Generally, wherever there is a big crowd and they lift flags and they protest and they shout and everything. Here also devotees shout, but they shout the holy names. Is it? In protest, people shout, which incites the other parties. Whereas here we call out the holy name. So that is how. But getting permission is oftentimes not easy because in this world there are different type of living entities who may not align with the Lord's will. In America also, how they got the permission? They said we just have 3 hand-driven carts for which we need permission. They said. So immediately the leaders thought that it's like bullock cart or something. Later on, when they came and said it was big carts. Even Prabhupada was amazed, how you guys got permission? So they call it as a hand-driven cart. Although it is hand-driven, the number of hands are 1,000 hands. It's not one hand, isn't it? You picturize it like some bullock cart to one person pulling it. You know. So once they got permission forever after that. Mm. So it was very memorable, Rath Yatras in multiple places. One amazing thing with this Bhakti Center is devotees never get tired here. Huh? I always see that, hundreds of Bhagavatam sets distributed and immediately after that, the Gita Jayanti comes and I have seen videos of devotees in their own, sitting in circles, Matajis, and there are also Prabhuji circle reciting the shlokas of the Bhagavad-gita. And then there is Gaur Purnima, then there is Ramanavami. Festival after festival, every festival has some target also, some goal to be achieved. So it's a very, Bhakti Center is a blissful center, very beautiful center. Oh. Only thing is you need a bigger place, 4 times this size, I feel. Correct? Because if all the preachers are going to bring their members from their gated community to show their Sunday evening program, correct, no? Want to bring them, there definitely you will need a bigger place in future. You have to think in that direction. So I asked the devotees, what is going on here? They told me that Tilanpo was taking the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad-gita. And then Rath Yatra came, then we got absorbed by Rath Yatra consciousness for about 3-4 Sundays, I think, correct, no? So therefore I thought I will take one section of the 15th chapter, which is very, very close to my heart. Because prior to coming to ISKCON, I was going to various organizations. Because I come from South India, I come from a Shankarite family also. I had one wrong notion in philosophy before that the jivas are conditioned in this world. But when you become purified and liberated, you become one with the Supreme. Huh? Ultimately, there is like one Supreme, and then that Supreme has multiplied into many, and then you become one with Supreme and you attain Shanti. Huh? That was one type of philosophical understanding. And then at the same time, I used to wonder, what is this forms of Krishna, Rama, and all these forms? So when I read in the impersonalistic books that one impersonal absolute comes in this world in varieties of forms, and then again it becomes impersonal. I was very sorry to hear that at that time. And I heard, really? Eternally is God just an impersonal entity who has no feelings, no emotions, and like a stoic thing. So, on the other hand, I came across some Vaishnava commentaries where I understood that the eternal truth is not just impersonal, it is impersonal and much more. Beyond the impersonal absolute, there is Vaikuntha, spiritual world, where the Lord exists as a person. Just like in India, like you pay tax to government of India. Can you draw the government of India? It is impersonal. But behind the government, there is Prime Minister, who is a person. And the Prime Minister also has two existences. One is at home, one is at Parliament. Similarly, the Lord has a home and Lord has a Vaikuntha, which is Parliament. Lord has two situations. So these things I had read in Vaishnava literature to some degree, but I was not very clear. In those days, I had ambiguity. So when I came to IIT Bombay, Devamrit Prabhu used to come and I asked him, is God personal or impersonal? What does your Siddhanta say? So he said, God is impersonal and much more. Like that he said. I said, that is all right, but impersonal is all right, but what is that much more? I asked. He said, that you will learn in future classes. Very smart. That's how he answered it. So then he told me, just keep coming, you will learn. And what is that much more? Then I understood. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdyate. Later on, I put it in the form of, I'll just show you. See here, the Jnanis realize the Brahman future, which is impersonal. The yogis realize Paramatma future, which is super soul in the heart. And the bhaktas realize Bhagavan future, which is threefold bending form of Lord Shyamsundar. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdite. So when you say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om, when you say, so Jnani chant only Om. So they don't go beyond that. Only they are stuck in Om only. Aham Brahmasmi and Om. And then when you go further, Namo means I bow down. When can you say Namo? That means there is somebody superior to me. Then only you will say Namo. Correct, na? As soon as you say Namo, that means God is great and you are small. And then who is that Namo you are doing to? Bhagavate means the Lord of six opulences. That is Paramatma in the form of Vishnu form is Bhagavate. Bhaga means opulences. All beauty, all knowledge, all wealth, all fame, all renunciation. That is Bhagavate. Then you may have a question, oh, what is that Bhagavan's name? Vasudevaya. Correct, no? You say, then you come to the understanding of Vasudeva is none other than Krishna, who is son of Vasudev. Another meaning of Vasudeva is Vas means to live. Vas plus Dev, Vasudev. Vas means to live. Dev means Lord. The Lord who lives in the heart of all. He is Vasudev. Another meaning is son of Vasudev is also Vasudev. So, in this way, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, just like, for example, in a country, when you say the same thing, when you say Om, it's like government of the country. Bhagavate means the Prime Minister's post, which has many opulences. And in India, many Prime Ministers have come and gone, but all of them are allotted certain privileges, correct, no? Like, for example, Prime Minister can use the Parliament House in Delhi for his meetings, correct, no? Like that, every day they spend more than ₹1 crore for his security also. You will see that In this way, Bhagavati means he has many opulences. He can declare a holiday for the whole country. Correct, no? Can we declare a holiday? We can, but nobody will listen. No? Anybody can declare. He can declare and it will be valid also. Correct, no? That is his opulence. Although he has two hands, two legs, one face like you and me, he has certain powers which we don't have. How many of you have seen when Prime Minister or a Chief Minister goes in a car, they have a bulb above the car. You've seen that? Tiong, 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 tiong. And that can go even in one way road also, it can go in both ways. And they can keep the car on the right side also. How many of you have seen that? Correct? That means he is beyond laws. Correct, no? They have no laws. Laws are only for the citizens. But those who are like in such big positions, they're given such, because their work is very important work. They have a lot of freedom. Similarly, all of our conditions also come into this world, we karma bandhana, we go to different bodies, but Lord comes of his own sweet will and he can go out of his own sweet will. He has a lot of freedom. So, what happened? So, in this way, the government of India is impersonal, and the parliament understanding is personal, and the home understanding is intimate. So, this is available in the Srimad Bhagavatam, you learn it. Okay, it's changing the cable. Give that. You remove this? Okay, it's coming. See here, you look at this mountain. The mountain looks very hazy when you go in the train from a distance, right? You all have seen like this, correct? Now when you go a little more nearer, it looks like this. Is there a difference or no difference? Yeah, you get more clarity. And when you go even more near, see somebody is coming down, you see? Somebody is, even you get more detail. Similarly, when you see the absolute truth from a distance, it looks like this. Oh, that's all. What jnanis see. They don't see anything beyond this. But when one goes in Om meditation more and more, Krishna says, Pranavas sarva vedeshu. I am the Pranava in all the Vedas. He says, why in the Vedas some people ask Krishna's name is not directly there, why it is saying Om? See, there is one verse in the Rig Veda, Shyamat Sabalam Prapadye, Shabalat Shama Prapadye. There is one verse like that. And also about the Gopalapuri, there is a verse also. There are quotes I have given in our book also, but they are very rare quotes. You don't find often. The reason for that is, like, when you talk of Krishna in an official way, his name is not Krishna or Gopal or Govinda or anything. His name is Vasudev. It's called as Vasudev. Just like, for example, there was a small kid, like this small boy. I met a small kid. I asked him, what's your name? He said, which name? He asked. I said, you have how many names you have? He said, in the school, my name is different. At home, my name is different. I said, what's your name at home? He said, my mom calls me Dilkush. He said, oh, sweet name. Dilkush means one who gives joy to my heart. Correct, no? What's your name in school? I asked. He said, my school name is Dinakar. He said, so Dinakar is called as different name. Now will you find Dilkush in a school register? You won't find it. There what you will find? Similarly in the Vedas you will find Vasudev. You will not find Kanu, Balu, Kanaya, Balaya. You will not find. That is intimately called the name by the devotees. Correct, no? But Krishna is called as Vasudev. So this is impersonal name. And then you see Paramatma, who is residing in the heart of all. And he is also residing in every atom also, both places. And in the heart of all living beings as well as in every atom. It is Bhagavan. He is supreme. And when he has to do anything, he gets it all done from others. Expanses, Vishnus, suspense as Paramatma. So he's called as Bhagavan. That's why in Bhagavad-gita you find Sri Bhagavan Vacha, correct? No? It doesn't say Sri Krishna Vacha, it just says Bhagavan Vacha because it's Lord of full all the opulences. So coming back to this verse, here see what Prabhupada says here. The living entities are all eternally separated part and parcels of Supreme Lord. When they are in contact with the material world, they are called Jiva Bhuta. I always used to wonder, what is the difference between these two words, soul and living entity? Huh? So later I found out, living entity means soul covered by two coverings, gross and subtle coverings. That is called living entity. But when you say soul, that means without any coverings. It's called soul. So the covered living entity is called Jiva Bhuta. That's what Bhut chad gaya, we say, na? Huh? It's like that. People, all living entities are like Pishacha Payalagata Maticha Nahai. Huh? Prabhupada says, as if a ghost has entered into somebody's body, living entities in this world are all haunted by the ghost of three gunas. Huh? Rajaguna, Tamaguna. And their behavior is very strange. Huh? I will show you some of the behaviors you will appreciate. See here. See a small boy, what he says here. What he says? I like to play all day. He just want to keep playing. Children always like playing. But the mom wants them to study all, isn't it? So the living beings in this world they all want to just be naughty and just be playful. But the duty calls them. Similarly, what he says? TV watching makes me cool, he says. But when exams come, I realize I'm fool. So in this world, you will find when you are haunted by Rajaguna, Tamaguna, we get qualities of laziness and unrestricted action. Just like computer, it hangs, that is like the Tamaguna. And computer goes crazy, that is Rajaguna, correct? No? Similarly, we also have experience of that. When virus enters. Similarly, you see here, snooze alarm, sleep in bed warm. Like this is saying, dear, get up to study, my friend, it's time to learn. We all need someone to wake us up, correct? No? Like this. Yes. So, actually, waking up is a very nice thing, but because of the three gunas haunting us, we tend to become lazy. See this fellow, too much. Sleeping all day on sofa and catching extra sleep, is it? Yeah. So, this is also due to what guna? See, if you go to bed, early to shine. Yeah. If you sleep early, you can quickly get up like this in the morning, not be lazy, sleeping in sofa like that. Yeah. See, I don't know how many can say no to smartphone. I don't know. This fellow is helpless victim. So, see, this fellow got trapped in a. And why he got trapped? Because he thought somebody foolishly has kept a pagoda inside. That fellow who kept is not foolish. This fellow is foolish. He got trapped. See, again he's trying pagoda again. Between. So just as this fellow tried to enjoy something and got trapped, all living entities in this world tried to enjoy and got trapped in the material body. Like this, you see here. Poor fellow, no? Trapped into some wrong company. You get into the wrong company, you get trapped. Yeah. See, Ravana was in Rajoguna and Kumbhakarna was in Tamaguna. And Vibhishan, from that desires you understand. See, Ravana, what was his aspiration? When Brahma came, actually he cut his head 10 times and Brahma gave one head. Therefore he got 10 heads. So, when Brahma appeared, he asked a boon that, I want dominion over all living beings. And no Devata should be able to kill me. No Asura should be able to kill me. Many, many boons he asked. I want to rule, over everything. So, but he forgot to ask for two things. No human being should kill me or no animal should kill me. That he didn't ask because he thought they are too insignificant, he thought. Therefore Lord Ram came in Narulila to finish him. So he was afflicted by Rajas, therefore he was asking such benedictions. And here you see this fellow, what he asked. Actually, he wanted to finish off all the demigods. So he wanted to ask a benediction which was Nirdevatvam. Nirdevatvam means no devata should exist in this world. And all devatas, when they understood his intentions, they were trembling. So they went to Saraswati and prayed, please twist his tongue to ask something else. So Saraswati twisted his tongue. Then Brahma came, he said, please give me Nidratvam, he asked. Instead of Nirdevatvam, he asked, what is Nidra? So he got 6 months to sleep, get up one day, again go to sleep. So what is that guna? Tamaguna. So Ravana and Rajaguna, Kumbhakarna and Tamaguna, and Vibhishan. Vibhishan, you know what boon he asked? Dear sir, in this world, walking the right path is easy when everything is smooth. But when situations become very challenging, even a good person sometimes may misbehave. So he said, in all situations, let me walk the right path, even in trying situations. That was his prayer. So later on, when his brother Ravana and the whole ministers were against him, still he walked the right path. He went to Lord Rama and joined with Ram. So these three brothers, you will see what paths they took. See, Ravana kidnapped another man's wife and was destroyed. Kumbhakarna foolishly supported that wrong brother Ravana. He was also destroyed. But Vibhishan joined hands with Lord Ram. You will see that. So you learn all these correct choices. How? By studying the scriptures. The scriptures teach you Viveka Buddhi. What is right, what is wrong, what to pick, what to drop, what is short-term benefit, what is long-term benefit, what is beneficial, what is harmful. Everything. What to feed, what to fence. You learn the scriptures. Like for example, when you grow a plant, you have to water the plant. You have to put manure to the plant. Correct. You have to give sunlight to the plant. These are all feeding. And how do you fence the plant? You put some pesticide, insecticide. You put a fence around the plant so no goat will eat it. Correct? You can prevent the plant from harmful agents. Similarly, all of us, for our souls, we have to feed and fence. That's called Abhyasena Kaunteya Vairagya. Abhyasa is feeding. Vairagya is fencing. So feeding and fencing technique we should learn. So I have shown more guna related things. So these gunas, and see here. See, there are some reversible choices we make in life, isn't it? Like here they are quarreling, but there is a possibility they may meet some devotee and take some counsel and become proper. But the right side shows non-reversible choice. That means they have divorced, you see. Similarly, there are certain things with short-term bad consequences. You neglected studies, you got a F grade. But somebody copied in the exam, they got the part. So you will see that the gunas may force us to make wrong and right and wrong choices. So see here, somebody is eating for taste, not caring for the health. This is eating for health. See, some children don't like these two options. They want only one option. And you know which one is that? They want only junk food. See, some people like this, isn't it? A lot of time gets wasted in this prajalpa. And it's better present. So this is the right option, wrong option, both I have shown. So, the postponing fellow, see, look at this fellow. When you finish the work, you feel like this. Isn't it? Very happy. Jiva Bhuta means, now I showed you what is, Tamaguna, Rajaguna occupies the, subtle body of the Jiva. The Jiva's behavior becomes erratic. But the Jiva Bhuta is supposed to become Brahma Bhuta. Brahma Bhuta means, what is that famous verse? Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktir labati para. So there he says, na shochati means doesn't lament. Na kankshati means doesn't hanker. So from hankering and lamentation is free. He is blissfully situated, relieved from all the gunas of this world, tamaguna, rajaguna, and everything in sattaguna. So they are actually infallible in that platform. However, Prabhupada says here, you see what he says: those who are in oneness with the Supreme Lord, however, are called infallible. Oneness does not mean that they have no individuality, but there is no disunity between them. They are agreeable to purpose of the. For example, if all of you agree to do Rath Yatra, then in your colony the chairman agreed, and all the society members agreed, and everybody agreed to come and participate also. They give donations also. So that means all are in one page, correct? No, that is called oneness. Like in one home I went, they said we have 4 TVs. They said, I said really? Why? They said because we all want to see 4 different channels. So there is no oneness, isn't it? Everybody want to see different things like that. But like sometimes you see food also, when they make food at home, one fellow wants to eat junk food, another one wants to eat simple food. So then they can't come in the same dining table. Everybody has their own desire. Somebody says, I'll eat out. I will not eat at home. So there is no unity. So in the Vedic times, generally, all the family members come together, correct, no? Come together, sit together and take at least one meal a day. That brings oneness in the family. So Prabhupada uses the word oneness in Sri Ishopanishad, where he says, if a family is aligned in the will, together, everybody says, father says, let's go to the temple. Wife is very happy to get ready to go to temple. Children are ready to go. Everybody is going together. So then there is oneness in their desire. And there is no opposition. Nowadays society, there is no oneness in spiritual this thing because many people, there is also asuric mentality also. There is a Daivi Sampad, there is also Asuri Sampad. Daivi Sampad means, that is aligned with the Lord. Asuri Sampad means that is oppose the Lord. Then there is opposition. So there is duality. But oneness actually means unity. Like, for example, when Krishna is dancing in the rasa dance with all the gopis, everybody is united in a prayerful mood in samadhi of pleasing the Lord by dance. That is also oneness. Prabhupada writes it in the Sri Ishopanishad, the type of example. In Bible, there is one statement. Jesus says, I and Father are one, he says. That doesn't mean you take the father and son and merge them together and make one lump of flesh, this much like chapati atta you make. It's not like that. When a son and father are said to be one, they are one in quality and one in opinion. Like I saw one father and son, they were wearing same colored dress. Some families do that, right? Like mother and daughters, they wear same colored dress, and father and son, they wear same type of. So his shirt color is matching with son's shirt color. His pant color matching. So they look similar. But still, like I asked the name. I asked the father, what is your name? He said, Reddy. I asked the boy, what is your name? Reddy, he said. Both are Reddy. But one is a big Reddy, one is small Reddy, correct? No? The small Reddy is like Brahman. Big Reddy is Parabrahman. Small Reddy is like Atma. And big Reddy is like Paramatma, correct? No? So that is the difference. We should know Atma and Paramatma. Brahman and Parabrahman. Parabrahman is always master. We are always servant. So, here Prabhupada read something. Please read this one.
According to the statement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, there are 2 classes of living entities. The Vedas give evidence of this. So, there is no doubt about it. The living entities who are struggling in this world with the mind and 5 senses have their material bodies, which are changing. As long as a living entity is conditioned, his body changes due to contact with matter. Matter is changing. So the living entity appears to be changing.
Yeah. In this world, all the bodies are changing. From childhood to boy to youth to old age. Yeah. See, in the spiritual world, the body is not made up of matter. Therefore, there is no change. This requires little explanation. You will see Narada Muni is flying from one planet to another, correct now? He even goes to Vaikuntha. What body do you think Narada has? The spiritual body. It's made up of Sachidananda Swarupa. But all of us also have similar body like Narada. Only thing is, right now, over that body there is a subtle body which is mind and gross body. So that is causing the change. Whereas in a spiritual body there is no change, he's saying. Then let us see. The next verse is very important. Uttama purushastvanyah paramatmetyudahritah yo lokatrayamavishya vivatyabhyaya ishwarah. Read this.
Besides these two, there is the greater living personality, the same soul,
The supreme soul.
the supreme soul, the imperishable Lord himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them.
That means he's talking about the third personality. There is two souls, Kshara and Akshara. But the third personality, Uttama Purushastu Anyaha. What is the meaning of Anya? It's different. And what is his name? Paramatmeti Udahritaha. His name is Paramatma, I say. That means very clearly Krishna says Paramatma is different from the Jivatma. If you see the Upanishads, they talk of two birds sitting in a tree, correct now? One is a silent bird watching, witnessing. Other bird is eating fruits. Sometimes he eats sweet fruits, he's enjoying. Sometimes he eats bitter fruits, suffering. But other fruit is silently watching, other bird. So who is that fruit-eating bird? Anybody can say? Jivatma. Who is the silent watching bird? Yeah. So he is just like a father is taking a small son to the park. Like the small kids. Father takes them to park. He is sitting in a park bench, taking the air, very nice, fresh air is blowing. He's relaxing and watching. But the son, what he does, sometimes he goes and comes in that, slide. So when he comes in the slide, naturally he enjoys. Correct, no? Sometimes he keeps enjoying for a while, then he wants to change the game. Then he goes and sits in a seesaw. You know what is seesaw? So one side he sits, other side nobody is there. What will happen? Whether it goes. And then he topples and falls. I starts crying. So sometimes the son is crying, sometimes he is enjoying. But what is father doing? Just watching. So father is giving a platform for the son to enjoy and suffer. Same thing super soul is doing. Okay, beta, chalo. Do whatever you want. Like for example, a king is allotting 1,000 acres of land to 1,000 farmers. Every farmer gets 1 acre land. And the king tells them, it's your choice what you want to plant. So some farmers plant neem seeds. Some farmers are planting mango seeds. And in future when they get mangoes, the mango farmer, he will enjoy the mangoes and he will smile. And those who planted the neem, they would suffer having to eat the bitter fruit. Or somebody is making a mixture of the two. Similarly, each of those fields is like our individual bodies. And the king owns all the 1,000 acres. That's like Paramatma. He owns all the bodies. See, this is coming in the 13th chapter also, you must have read. You know that famous verse? Idam, you all can repeat after me. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetram ityabhidiyate evam yo veti tam prahuhu kshetrajnam iti tadvidaha kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yattad jnanam matam mama. Very important verses. What he says, Idam Shariram Kaunteya. This body, Arjuna, is called as Kshetra, he's saying. Field. Field is not just his body, there is much more to it. The word Sangata, if you see in the 13th chapter, the meaning is, it is not just only this body you see in the mirror. Like you have seen children playing in a sandbox, you have seen that? The sandbox becomes the limit of enjoyment of the child. In the sandbox, there is seesaw. In the sandbox, there is slide. Sandbox, there are toys to play. He is in that. So he's just stuck there for years together, you will see. Similarly, think of a barber. Barber sees so many heads of people, so many hairs, so many lotions for the head, so many scissors, and then polishing knives and everything, lotions and everything. His whole world is limited to that. Take an IT engineer, whole life is sitting in the cabin, typing, is just seeing. So he can become completely absorbed in that. Like this, you see this. If you work so hard, you don't have much time for it. So this is what is called as field. The field means you are in a field where you get completely absorbed the whole life in that place. Now think of a pujari in a typical temple in South India, you find he spends most of the time in sanctum sanctorum, correct? No? He's doing the chanting of the mantras of the Lord. He's bringing the sacred waters, he's doing Abhishek. Some of the Sri Vaishnava temples and all, pujas go for hours together. Recently, I went to 10th Tirupati near Coimbatore, They took me, daily they do Kalyanam, for the Lord and the two Devis, Sri Devi, Bhudevi. Daily it happens there. It takes like 3-4 hours program. And the pujari is ecstatic, is happily doing daily. So, he has got such a field. That field is chosen by him. Field means your body and the things connected to the body, a bodily environment. Now, all of us, we can change our field if you want. You can move your life from being totally materialistic, and then we can move to a platform where there is something material, something spiritual, and then very, very spiritual. This changing the field ability is there with every individual jiva. It's possible. So that's coming more in the 13th chapter. The king is the owner of all the fields, like Krishna is the. Therefore, he's saying, Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi means I am also a Kshetrajna, he says. His Jna means what? Knower. Kshetra means field. Kshetrajna means what? Knower of the field. You know your house, and another person may know his house. Every one of us know our own body. What is going on in your mind, I cannot know. What is going on in my mind, you cannot know. Correct? No? So, in this way, also Kshetrajna in everybody is saying. See, when do you use the word also? Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi. Api means I am also. Will any of you say, I am also staying in that room if no one else is there? Will you say that? When do you say, I am also there? That means, hence proved that there are two souls. There is Jiva soul, and I am also there in each body, he is saying. So these verses also prove that the super soul and soul are not same. They are two different personalities. Kshetrajnam cha abhimam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharat. You are only in your body, but I am there in every body, like that he says there. Similarly, here also he says the same thing. Besides these two, there is a greatest living personality. Uttama purushastu anyaha. Paramatma iti udah. His name is Paramatma, he is saying. Prabhupada is quoting one more verse. Please all of you repeat this. Nityo nityanam chetanam yeko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. See, Nitya means, God is eternal, we are all eternal. God is cognizant, we are all cognizant. He is one, we are many. Eko bahunam. He is one, we are plural. Singular supreme, plural subordinates. Like that. This is Upanishad. We are not talking Puranas. So many people, especially impersonalists, will tell you, quote from Upanishads. You can quote this one. Huh? Another verse I told you, Samane virkshe purusho nimagno anishesho chati muhyamana. That is two birds sitting in a tree. Mundaka Upanishad. You can quote that also. So, then with this we will conclude. Please repeat this verse. Yasmat sharamati toham aksharaadapi chottamaha atosmi loke vede cha pratitah purushottamah. He's saying, Yasmat sharamati toham. I am beyond the fallen souls, he's telling. And then the second line was my turning point in my life when I first met Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. He showed me this line. And that was the time I decided that I will dedicate my life to ISKCON. Huh? What is this line? Akshara-dapicha uttama. I am also beyond the liberated souls. Very clearly Krishna says. Not that liberated souls are same as me. Akshara-dapicha uttama, he says. Therefore, in all the worlds and in all the Vedas, I am celebrated as Purushottama. My name is Purushottam. He's saying, please read this.
Because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that supreme person.
So here Prabhupada's purport is short but very punching purport. Read this.
No one can surpass the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, neither the conditioned soul nor the liberated soul. He is therefore the greatest of the personalities. Now, it is clear here that the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are individual.
See, we are also called living entity. Lord is also called living entity, but He is supreme living entity. He is a supreme amongst all the living entities. And then Prabhupada is saying difference. What is the difference?
The difference is that the living entities, either in the conditioned state or in the liberated state, cannot surpass in quantity the inconceivable potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So the living entity can never surpass the. For example, Lord can make Jupiter, Saturn, such planets He can put, but we can only put a Sputnik in orbit. Small Sputnik, right now, isn't it? The Lord can, create millions of universes, but we can only put one satellite around the earth. The Lord can create moon. What can we do? We can create a dome light. You can't do beyond that. Lord can create oceans. We can create swimming pool. Something small. Lord does big things. We do small. In America, one man asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, why does your God require such a big car? And a Jagannath car. Prabhupada said, see, God is big, He has a big car. You are small, you have a small car. Prabhupada is asking, why are you envying God? He is the greatest person. He is the master of the whole universe, millions of universes. Yeah. So that's what he is saying, that we are very tiny. We cannot imitate God. We can imitate in a very poor way, in a small way. Like Prabhupada was telling in Honolulu, one man said, Swamiji, what an amazing feat it is. Man is driving jumbo jet planes, flying above the ocean. Just see how powerful it is. So Prabhupada said, see, do you agree that man has invested his brain to make these aeroplanes fly? Prabhupada asked. And the man said, yes. Similarly, think how much more giant brain will be required to make so many birds fly. And that too, all types of God's greatness is not one-sided, it is two-sided, Prabhupada said. God can make a big eagle fly, He can make a small mosquito fly. Can your scientist make one mosquito to fly? Yes, you can only make a big aeroplane. You cannot make a mosquito to fly. He said. So God can do both sides greatness. So therefore he says that God's inconceivable potencies are unimitatable. It is incorrect to think of the Supreme Lord and living entities as being on the same level or equal in all respects. Actually, he underlined this and showed me. So just see, you should not think living entities can ever be equal to the Lord. That's a great offense to think like that. Imagine if Prime Minister or President of a country comes to a jail. If all the thieves say, hey, I think he has also become thief, he is with us. It's offensive. Or if all the thieves talk to each other, hey, because PM is inside the jail, What does that mean? I think we all have become PMs now. Both are offensive. Neither they can become PM, nor does PM become thief. PM comes into the jail voluntarily, sees all the thieves, and then gives them a good speech or something, and then he goes out. He voluntarily comes, voluntarily goes. He's a free bird. He shouldn't be counted as one of the thieves. So conditioned soul equates a lot to other conditioned souls. It's a great offense. Avajananti mam. Krishna called them mudha. Prabhupada used to often quote this. If somebody says Krishna is like you and me, he's a mudha. He doesn't know the difference. So, and then Prabhupada is saying, there is always the question of superiority and inferiority between their personalities. The word Uttama is very significant. No one can surpass the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. So I was very pleased when I came across this section in the 15th chapter, which gives a crystal clear understanding of God's supremacy over all, over all living beings. There is no one equal to him or greater. It's called Asama Urdhva. You heard this word? Asama Urdhva, which means there is no one equal to him, no one. He himself says that, Matta Parataram. So, once this understanding dawns in our heart, then we have all the reason to surrender to Krishna completely. He's the supreme, he's the master, he's worthy of worship. He's beyond all. And although he's Samam Bonam, he's a supreme. If he wants, he can control and crush us, but he will not do that because he's more loving and kind. He is the father of all and we are his part and parcel. So it's a very beautiful chapter, the 15th one called Purushottam Yoga. And Prabhu will complete the chapter. I think most part of it you finished, I think. Later on you'll complete. Thank you all very much. Shri Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Yes. You can give chance to congregation devotees first. In voice, I come and answer so many questions. You can give chance to others. Anybody else? Yeah. Some other hand was up. Who was that?
Have a question?
This one I can get it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Ratha?
Prabhuji, I have one question, which is always like a confusing one for me. Like there will be new people when we are addressing our own, like within our communities and all. How much is it that we can share and what we cannot share with them, like in terms of information about Krishna or this kind of sessions about like what you shared today?
Yeah.
Is it something that can be shared with the newcomer or
it depends on
at
you.
what stage?
It depends on your conviction. Actually, very advanced things can be spoken to very new people sometimes, and it can deeply enter their heart and wake them up also. Provided we are deeply convinced about it, then we can speak. But sometimes we have a little fear that it may lead to rejection. They may reject and go away. Or they may, for example, I'll tell you one example. One person comes from South India and he comes from a background where he has worshipped many devatas, all his life. So now he has become initiated devotee, he's a preacher. But he always feels that the word demigod he doesn't like. He says demigod looks like making the devatas inferior or something like that. And he says, I will only use the word devata. So in one lecture, somebody asked him about demigod. He said, no, they are not demigods, they are devatas. He said, same meaning. But because he has some attachment to worshipping those devatas, he can't speak with conviction that all devatas are subordinate to Krishna. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutas Tunmanti Divyastavai. That was says, very first line. Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Agni, Vayu, everybody. They are subordinate to Lord. Same thing, if you go to Tirupati, we recite this, no? Kamalaja Kachucha Kakunkamato Niyataru Nitatu Lani Latano Kamalaya Talocha Nalo Kapate Vijayi Bhava Venkatasha Ilapate Kachaturmuka Shanmuka Panchamuka Pramuka Kiladaiva Tamaulimane Sharanagata Vatsalasara Nidhe Paripalaya Mamrishasha Ilapate. They all are included. Chaturmuka, Shanmuka, Panchamuka. They all go to bow down to him. Whenever there's a cosmic disturbance, all devatas go to Brahma, And Brahma takes them to Dugdha Sagar, milk ocean, and they report to Lord Vishnu. So what is the difficulty in accepting? You can give innumerable instances like this from scriptures. So at the same time, if somebody is weak-minded and not fully convinced, even though one is initiated or one is in ISKCON for many years, then they should not try to explain the subject to newcomers about devatas. Because if they do, then they will find it difficult to convince them.
No, it's
No, I'm just giving an example. In the same manner, each of us, we can, our speaking to the newcomers depends on our realization only.
yes, Prabhuji. Like, I'll little elaborate. If it is not about devatas, it's only about Krishna.
Yeah.
And my firm conviction is that since it is about Krishna,
Yes.
and we don't know whether one person is coming for one session to us or whether that person is going to stay here with us for long.
Yeah.
My belief is that at least that higher knowledge about Krishna should
Correct.
at least touch them.
Correct.
They should at least be introduced to it.
Yeah.
And after that, it is their free will whether to choose to listen to it or not.
Correct.
Is it right, Prabhuji, in thinking like that?
How you say what you say matters.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because whatever we quote is basically from Prabhupada and
Even
clarifications
if you quote from Prabhupada, still I will tell you an example. How you say what you say matters. I'll tell you an example. Now, somebody comes from a South Indian background. He has this one. What do you call it? Basma. He's wearing. He's a follower of naturally Shiva now. Now, in your talk, you can say that, Shiva is an expansion of the Supreme Lord only. But he is very fond of worshipping the Supreme Lord by chanting Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. He chants. He accepts Ganga on his head because he knows it is the Charanamrit of the Lord. Like that. And you can also see that Shiva and Lord have a very sweet relationship. He comes to meet Lord Krishna when he's a baby. In Vrindavan, he comes to see him. He assists the Lord in his pastimes. He drinks halahal, to please Lord Hari and to please all the jivas. In this way, in Madurai, if you go, Lord Vishnu is giving his sister Meenakshi in marriage to Shiva. So Shiva is accepting her hand. Kanyadan, the Lord is giving. Brother is giving his sister in marriage to Shiva is giving. So if you speak like this, even people who are worshippers of Shiva won't have much problem. They accept. On the other hand, if in the whole lecture I am trying to hammer the point that Shiva is not God, he is never equal to Vishnu, is always subordinate. Those who think Shiva is supreme, they are simply in Tamasika and things like that. Then the whole, that ambience becomes surrounded by some unpleasant vibrations. So therefore I said, how we say what we say matters a lot. The same thing may be told in a different way. Like one example I'll tell you. I went to my spiritual master. I was a Shaivite also. I come from Shaivite family. And I went to my Guru Maharaj's room. I said, Maharaj, in the next 3 months, I was planning to shave up, join the ashram full time. But here, all brahmacharis are saying, I cannot chant this Yajurveda chant, this Rudram Chamakam, and all I cannot chant. I can't keep a Shiva picture, they are saying. I asked 2-3 devotees. So he said, no problem. You can keep Shiva's picture, you can chant Rudram Chamakam. Shiva deserves to be glorified. He's a very great personality. I said, really? Maharaj, it's dramatically opposite what they said and what you said. I'm very pleased. Thank you so much. I was about to leave the room. Then he called me and said, you can keep Shiva picture, you can recite Rudram Chama, but there is no need, he said. Then I asked, why there is no need? I asked. Then he said, see, if you water the root of the tree, do you have to separately water the leaves and the branches? Is there a need? He asked. I said, why need? Root is enough, I said. And Krishna is the root, he said. Krishna is the root of everything. That verse he was quoting, Yata taror mula nishechanena tripyanti tatskanda puja. He said, so you don't have to water every leaf. So, and then when you chant Hare Krishna, Shiva is already pleased, he said. But still, if you feel that you have some sentiments towards Shiva and you want to keep the picture, then there's nothing wrong in that. He is Vaishnavanam. You have that understanding now. With that understanding, you can worship Shiva like what Prachetas did. They worship Shiva as the spiritual master. So look at this understanding, how wonderful it is. So that made me stick on. And now I am here today. Otherwise, if somebody put me off, I don't know whether I'll be here. Correct. So how we say, what we say. Like we used to have a coupon in our Kunjiperi temple, 40 rupees coupon, Those who come before Jayarada Madhava ending, they will get free coupon. And those who come later, they have to pay and buy. So there will be a fellow sitting with the table with the coupons there. Here all the people are coming in queue, they have to give the coupon and the plate and we give them prasadam. So one fellow is coming with a plate without coupon. So one fellow asks, coupon किधर है? नहीं है. क्या कूपन लाए बिना लोग आते हैं, नीचे रख दो. बेटा चलो कूपन लेकर आओ. Like that he said. So this fellow became very offended. He said, what? Do you think we are beggars coming to your temple? We can eat in star hotels. I can spend 10,000 rupees and eat in a star hotel. I don't have to come here. And he shouted and all people surrounded and he said, bulao tumhare president ko. Then I came running. I said, kya ho gaya? Big crowd of people around. This fellow is doing a lot of drama, throwing tantrums, because he wanted to show how important it is. It became a very horrible scene. Later on, I removed this devotee. I said, your way you say is not good. Then he put a very soft-spoken devotee. Anybody comes with a plate and gives coupon, he'll take it. And then coupon, they don't have. Coupon nahi, kya hai? I'll say, no. Thoda seedha jayenge udhar. In that corner, a table is there, no? If you collect a coupon from him and bring it, then you can take prasad. Is that all right? He will ask. Oh, all right. Very, very sweet. The way he will speak would be so sweet. So nobody would mind. He's saying the same thing only. But how you say? So that matters in communication. That's all. Your idea is good. You want to see that in the first go only people hear about Krishna at least something.
And it is not me speaking, Prabhuji. I wish to share videos of, like, suppose you speaking or Amarendra Prabhu speaking.
Yeah.
Is that okay or?
Yeah, actually it depends.
Because you all measure your words when you are speaking and you
often go. But if you have given something right to them, it will go into their hearts and ringing. It will be ringing inside. Someday it will bring them back.
That's exactly the intent, Prabhuji.
Yeah. And sometimes there are some sensitive devotees. They don't tell about all the spiritual things right in the first go. And we should not consider them to be baffling. That is another type of preaching. I would do that probably maybe one lecture or two lectures max. After that, we should come to the truth. Because the first 1 or 2 lectures can help them in bridging. But after that, we have to speak the truth. Otherwise, they will never come to know. They don't know what we represent and what do we stand for. They don't.
Can't be defensive all the time. Sometimes we have to introduce.
Yeah, that is true. And that while introducing, we should remember their background and very compassionately we have to introduce. That's important. Leland Prabhu is known for compassionate introduction. Yes. He was invited to one college. That madam in the college was saying, his speech was so good, students were not ready to leave him. Actually, he was supposed to speak 1 hour, he took 2 hours. But students said, take 1 more hour, they said. We don't mind. But he had to go, therefore he had to go, she was telling. So he keeps the audience spellbound and entertains, cracks some jokes in between also. So, Prabhupada ki, thank you very much.